a couple other guys on this roster that are due for some contracts. They've already gotten rid of one of them. Chase Claypool, gone. He's in Miami now. He's not an issue for the Bears when it comes to trying to re-sign or anything of that nature. However, there is another receiver, Darnell Mooney, who needs a new contract after this year, and your top corner, Jaylon Johnson, needing a new contract after this year. Do the Bears pay them? Do we even get to a point where Ryan Poles or anybody else in that front office actually gets a chance to extend them in the offseason? Or are they gone before that can happen? If the opportunity presents itself, Q, what do you think the trade value for these two players could be for the Bears if they really decide to hit the reset button and blow it up?
Yeah, I think it's a good question because it's like, how do you set the trade value on these players, right? Because again, you are trading a player who is under contract for 11 more games right now. Like that's it. That's all it's guaranteed. And especially in a guy like Mooney's case, a guy who hasn't produced for, I don't think, any reason of his own, but hasn't produced over the last, what do you want to say, 23 games, like you'd expected after being a 1,000-yard receiver 2 years ago. So I think that on the Mooney front, that makes that more difficult. And what also makes it difficult negotiation wise is the fact that the Bears are going to be needing to sign so many free agents this offseason that they're not going to be in line for comp picks. So there is not the argument of, well, we'll just let him walk and get a 4th-round comp pick for him, because you're not going to get that comp pick because you need to sign so many free agents of your own that the calculation will cancel it out. So the Bears don't have that going for them, which weakens their negotiations. But I still think right around comp pick, like compensation of a 4th or probably like a 4th-round pick for Mooney, maybe a 5th with conditions. I would say a 5th that can become a 4th.
Sure.
Or something along those lines for someone who's really desperate for receiver help. But I mean, I guess I think a conditional 5th from a team like Kansas City would make sense. But the thing that's weird with wide receiver is it's just not that valuable for, to come in mid-season, learn a new offense and be a difference maker. So that's what also makes me question, like, man, maybe it's a 6th with a 5th condition, with a condition become a 5th, because it's just like there's so much to get these guys up to speed, and you need to be sure you're a playoff contender to make it valuable, right? To make it matter, because otherwise this guy might be hitting stride week 17 and it's not going to matter. Now at corner, I think it's a little different. I think the value is a little stronger at corner, despite some more injury concerns with Jaylon. But agreed. I think you're looking at more of a solid 4th that can become a 3rd, maybe, or something along those lines for a man coverage heavy system. Because if you're just asking him to go across from the guy and play man coverage, we know Jaylon can do that. We've seen it. He's feisty out there. He's good at it. And there's not a lot of chemistry that he needs with the safeties, with the other corners in a man heavy scheme to really be sitting there saying, like, I need to know when the safety's coming up over the top and I'm releasing back down to the flat, or like that chemistry matters a lot in zone heavier coverages. Or if it's just like a quarters coverage where it's like you have quarter of the field back, that's your lane. He's played in that. Like, he has played in so many different concepts here in Chicago. He's very scheme diverse. It's just the chemistry aspect that I'd worry about if I'm a team that's asking for a lot of reads, a lot of checks, a lot of teamwork in the coverages, as opposed to some other teams like maybe the Browns we saw Sunday run man coverage like all game against San Francisco. That, and I don't think the Browns have a need, but like a team that runs their defense more like that makes more sense to me, because they're just asking them to be on an island.
Yeah, and to your point, it's something that Jaylon has done a lot of. So I agree. I think ultimately, I think it just is the way, because of what you said. Like, defensive players have more value at the trade deadline because it's easier for them to come in and be immediate impact players. even in a lot of cases, I think running back on an offense is probably a lot easier to jump in than, say, a receiver, a tight end, even an offensive lineman potentially, because of that chemistry aspect that's required. You can kind of jump in and be a little more impactful, I think, as a running back on offense. But agreed. I think the value is unfortunately low for both of them, but Jaylon will probably bring back more potentially. Again, if the Bears decide to go that route, there is no guarantee they're going to be selling at the trade deadline, but being 1-5 certainly it feels like it's a good enough little nudge to at least consider the idea going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 1-5 without a prospect of comp picks, like it's just kind of the smart thing to do at that point.